If wearing color feels complicated, it's not that you're bad at color. It's just that no one told you the pairing secrets that can take your outfit from 0 to 100. Most people have at least one of those two in their wardrobe. A lot of black clothes, which can feel very simple, very safe, but maybe a little flat if you're putting an all black outfit, or a lot of bright, colorful pieces, which can be fun and expressive, but difficult to pair together. And when you try to mix the two, rather than creating a balanced outfit, you end up feeling really bold and sharp and contrasted, which might not be the effect that you're looking for. And this problem of the bifurcated or split wardrobe is what the founder of Tibi, Amy Smilovic, ended up solving with the Tibi Colour Wheel. It's a really useful tool to add color when your outfits feel a little bit flat, or to calm things down when they start to feel chaotic. So whether your wardrobe is full of black pieces, bright pieces, or a mixture of both, this video is going to show you how to wear color in a way that feels intentional, balanced, and completely true to you. Everything I'm going to share is based on the Creative Pragmatist book by Amy Smilovic, which I paid an eye-watering amount for. So if you don't want to spend over $100 to get the book, grab your favorite ring and let's dive right in. Let's now start with the 4 rings of the Tibi Colour Wheel. Ring 1 is black and those almost black, really deep shades. And ring 1 is stable, grounding, and a little mysterious. The danger is that it is so easy to wear black that an outfit composed of all black shades can end up feeling a little bit flat, especially if you're not varying the textures. But when worn on its own with intention, it can make you feel powerful and sleek and bring a sense of strength and grounding to your outfit. Ring 2 is all of those classic traditional colors, things like navy, grey, beige, camel, taupe, and cream and white. Those are the colors you would see in pretty much every classic wardrobe and in most capsule wardrobes. And that is because those shades are timeless, they're easy to wear and easy to pair together. Wearing only ring 2 can feel very classic if this is the effect that you're going for, but if we want to feel more modern, it's really important to also pay attention to things like textures and shapes to create a more modern feel. Ring 3 is where things get interesting, and those are the colors that most people miss in their wardrobe. And that is those ish colors, the ones that are really difficult to name exactly. So for example, it might be a purplish gray, a bluish green, a reddish brown. It's not just one word. All of those colors will have either a grayish or a brownish undertone, and so they feel very calm, nuanced, and creative. And if creating an outfit only with those colors, it's very easy to feel relaxed and calm. And you often find those in yoga, workout sets, or anything that is related to relaxation. Amy calls ring 3 colors the superhero because it really helps to fix the extremes. It helps to soften the really bright colors, and it adds depth and interest to ring 1 and 2 colors, which can appear more traditional. And so if your wardrobe has a lot of dark and a lot of really bright shades, ring 3 is that bridge that can really help you to create interesting outfits. And finally, ring 4 are the brights and pastels. So all of those colors are shades that you would immediately recognize. Things like cobalt, hot pink, lemon, mint, anything that is very vibrant. Those colors are bold, they're confident, they're quite expressive, and worn on their own, they create this happy and joyful feel in an outfit. Ring 4 is always used to add energy into an outfit and can help you transform some of your more timeless and classic outfits into something more interesting. So now that you know all about the 4 different rings, let's talk about what Amy calls color math, which is basically how to pair the rings together in a way that expresses your mood and just matches who you are. So the key thing to keep in mind here is that the further the rings are, the more bold and contrasted and sharp a look is going to feel. And the closer they are, the more calm and harmonious it's going to feel. And so for example, if we compare ring 1 and 4 together versus ring 1 and 2 or ring 3 and 4, you can see that the contrast is actually quite big. And so we can use that to express different moods. So let's take this ring 4 cobalt blue skirt. If we mix it with ring 1, it creates this very bold and sharp outfit, which is perfect for those days when you really need that sense of strength and contrast. When we pair ring 4 with ring 2, the more classic timeless colors such as the beige and the navy, you can see how it creates a still interesting but a more classic and composed outfit. And when we add this grayish purplish jumper to the cobalt blue, we're mixing ring 3 and 4. And you can see how the cobalt blue instantly feels more calm while still being a very interesting outfit combination. And finally, we can pair ring 4 with ring 4 and create a very bright, happy, joyful outfit that is certainly going to bring energy into your day. So you can see how the same skirt can express very different moods and emotions. And so it's not about whether a certain color suits you or whether you can wear it. It's much more about learning how to combine those shades in a way that makes sense to you. Similarly, we can take this Ring 2 navy blue skirt and pair it with black to create a very grounded, timeless outfit. If we wear the navy with shades of beige, you can see how this instantly feels very, very classic, and you have to pay attention to the shapes to keep it a little bit more modern. If we add the same purplish jumper, you can see how Ring 2 and Ring 3 being so close together creates a very calm but still classic outfit that just has a little bit more depth than just wearing it with beige. And finally, we can inject a lot of energy into the navy by pairing it with the cobalt blue top. And so I hope that by now you can see that it's not about having this or that piece, it's about how you put an outfit together and what you want to express. However, there is another reason why you might have a lot of colorful pieces that you don't end up wearing. And this is where the concept of bigs and bigs actually comes into play. So Amy talked about how having sometimes a fuzzy cobalt blue jumper is better than having a cobalt blue t-shirt. And that is because the t-shirt on its own can be a very, very flat item versus the fuzzy jumper has something going on for it beyond the color. And so this is where Amy suggests that when we buy colorful things, things that are bright or things that are in a pattern, we really need to pay attention to either the texture or the shape. So I stands for icky texture. So this can be something that is fuzzy, knobby, tactile, like feathers, anything that is just a little bit strange to the touch. G is for glossy. So think about patent leather, satin, sequins, anything that just brings that really interesting kind of flowy, sleek effect. And S is for sculptural. And this is all about the item having a sense of shape, whether that is something that really flows, something that is interestingly structured, something that just has something a little bit more sculptural, intentional going for it beyond just the color. So having things that are icky, glossy or sculptural in combination with a bright color or a pattern creates friction. And this item actually feels a lot more versatile and intentional rather than flat. Now, this is not saying that if you have a pink t-shirt or a yellow cotton jumper, you'll never wear it. It's not about that. It's just that items that have more going on for them usually end up being a little bit more versatile and easier to style for different occasions. But if you love your bright pink t-shirt, just wear it. I still have this cobalt blue jumper, and while I don't necessarily wear it much, it is still one of my basics, and it is something that I use to build interesting outfits. So now that you know what colors you're working with and how to buy colors that are going to last in your wardrobe, let's talk about how much to wear in an outfit. And this is where Amy has a different principle called one tone or none. And it's all about how to control balance and focus in an outfit. So if your outfit has none, it is not about just wearing neutrals, but it's about not really having a standalone item, not a strong contrast. The colors kind of blend and meld together. And overall, your eye doesn't focus on a specific item, it just takes in the whole outfit. And that can make you feel calm, collected, and softly understated. One is all about having one clear focal point where your eye goes instantly. So the most typical one is those pop of color items. Whether that is a bright shoe, a bright bag, or even a bright jumper, this is where the eye is instantly drawn to. It creates a very deliberate feeling and it can feel quite interesting and polished. So you can achieve this effect by mixing some neutrals and ish colors and then adding a pop of color that is instantly going to draw the eye in, or you can actually mix neutrals with lower contrast and then adding a white shoe or even a metallic shoe is going to draw the eye in instantly and again create that one focal point in the outfit. Now, when it comes to tone, you might be surprised to see that when we have a lot of bright colors put together or a lot of colors in an outfit in general, the eye, again, doesn't perceive individual items, but it just perceives the person and their style as a whole. And so again, that helps the eye relax rather than focus on a specific thing. And those kind of outfits can feel really rich, artistic, expressive, and really fun, while at the same time being cohesive because nothing is overpowering anything. The one thing that Amy suggests avoiding is what she calls the two. And that is basically what you can see as the color sandwich, for example. So the top and the shoes match, or the belt and the shoes match, or they're in a similar color. And so what happens is that your eye is constantly ping-ponging between the two items and it never actually settles. And so while this is not necessarily a mistake, and I do think that a lot of those outfits really draw you in a photo because they look really interesting, in real life it can be a little bit unsettling. So whether you choose to follow that rule or not is entirely up to you, but I find that one tone or known has really helped me to create better outfits over the past months while not feeling like I'm just wearing one color and a bit boring. And here is a very quick example of how you can take an outfit that has none, then turn it into one by adding the loafers. Then you can see if we add the cardigan as a scarf, now we have a 2. And we can easily turn that into a tone by adding a lot of other colors elsewhere in the outfit. In that way, the eye just perceives the whole look rather than going into one specific accessory. And because I know that I'm talking about a lot of concepts that might be completely new to you if you're not familiar with the Tibi color theory, I've actually made you a PDF guide that has hundreds of different examples and a lot more explanations. I also added some quizzes so you can really test your knowledge and understanding to make sure that you can fully apply the Tibi color rings to your own wardrobe. I've designed it so you can literally take it with you when you're shopping outside or when you're playing in your own wardrobe. And so if you want to download it, the link is in the description and in the pinned comment. Now let's talk about how to intentionally expand your wardrobe, whether you're going from the all black, all brights, or having those two extremes and trying to bridge them together. So if you're someone that wears a lot of black, it may be very tempting to start adding just those bright colors. But as you've seen, going from ring to ring can actually be a lot easier because it helps to create more harmonious outfits. And so, for example, adding those really nice neutral shades to your black items can help you to create really good, interesting outfits that can still feel like you're wearing a little bit of color, you're kind of expanding your comfort zone while still feeling really sophisticated, classic, and urban. Now, once you feel comfortable with those outfits, adding some ring 3 shades can really bring depth into your outfits. You can start really small with things like socks, a bag, maybe a scarf or a t-shirt, or you can go a little bit bigger if you feel comfortable. So pick the shades that feel exciting to you, and if you care about color analysis, just make sure to pick a cooler undertone if you're cool and warmer undertone if you're warm. So for example, in here, I've decided to take those warmer undertone pieces and start adding them to the outfit. You can see that now we have either ring 2 and 3 together, which creates a very harmonious outfit, or we have maybe rings 1, 2, and 3, which again creates a little bit more depth into what was a bit more of a neutral outfit. And so now you're already wearing color, but it's not scary. And finally, if you feel more bold and experimental, if you're drawn to a specific brighter shade, you can start adding those brights or pastels a little bit slower. So for example, we can add something bright in here, and now we're wearing all 4 rings, which creates quite an interesting outfit, and you're definitely wearing color without feeling like a colorful maximalist. Now, on the other path, if you're someone that wears a lot of color, then start by going inwards. So pick some shades from ring 3, and again, if you care about undertones, try and pick colors that are going to be at the same undertone as the clothes that you own. And it's going to help you to bring down and calm down the brightness while still keeping that very colorful, creative vibe. And so you can see how all of those outfits have a little bit more depth. They can be a little bit more interesting and more subtle, while still being very creative and joyful. Now, if you find yourself craving a little bit more classic feeling, timelessness, versatility, then adding a couple of neutrals can help. And it's going to make your outfit still feel really sophisticated while being primarily colorful. So you can see all of those outfits have a combination of ring 2, 3, and 4, making 4 dynamic, modern, but still urban outfits that feel colorful, but in a more grounded way. And finally, if we really want that higher contrast and strength, we can bring a little bit of black. Now you can see all of those outfits have a variety of different shades from all of the different rings, and that helps you to create a much more blended outfit while still keeping the higher contrast if that is what you're after. And if you're someone that already has ring 1 and ring 4 into your wardrobe, I really recommend adding some ring 3 shades. It doesn't have to be many, you can literally start with 1 or 2 items, but you can see instantly how much more depth that adds into your outfits. And for me, adding just a couple of ring 3 shades has been an absolute game changer to my outfits. Because as someone that loves contrast and really plays with the very bright and very dark shades, sometimes I don't necessarily want to feel as bold and as sharp. And so this Uniqlo jumper, for example, has definitely brought a sense of calm into my outfits, just toning down the contrast a little bit and adding visual interest in a very different way. So once you learn how to use a Tibi Colour Wheel to create outfits that are able to express different moods and suit different situations, you're going to feel so much more powerful when it comes to color. And so I definitely recommend downloading the guide because I go into a lot more detail for all of those principles. And while color is definitely a reason why your outfit might feel off, there are actually 7 other things that might bring you that feeling. And so if you want to know what those are, check out this video right here. I'll see you there.